Gyrodos, I think this is like the fifth straight, or I don't know how many tournaments in a row it's been where it's been Encore and Rated R in the finals, but whatever the number is, it's either 3, 4, maybe 5. I think it's 3 or 4. But whatever that number is, it truly is just a testament to how strong these two teams are. And especially with Rated R winning in every single one of those encounters, I think Encore now is hungrier than ever to finally take their chance on the top.
Yeah, so we've got Encore versus Rated R today, and it's going to be what I believe is a very tight, close match. And
the El Clasico of 200, if you will.
Basically, yeah. I mean, this comes down to it's going to come down to a lot of good team play, and whether or not we're going to see, we're going to need to see a lot of good front presence from either one of these teams if they want to take the big W today. So
of course, and as for who that front presence is going to be, if we can have a look at the lineups, because I'm actually not sure who R is going with. I know Encore's, but I'm not quite sure what R is running with, and that would be Darky, Edgy, Eric Free, K4I, Avaro, Yoshira. So clearly they're pulling out all the stops, waking up their Japanese players, despite it being about 5 a.m. for them, and they're looking to do work. They're looking to get their work done and continue their dynasty against Encore, who, with the newly added piece in Brandon, very strong player, and also coming back with the same core of players that they've had for a long time with Berta, Desi, Michael, Technical, who will be your POV, and Ty. So very familiar lineups for both of these teams, and about the best that both of them have to offer. So both teams clearly pulling out all the stops, both teams hungrier than ever. This is basically the equivalent of the 2018 NBA Finals when it was Warriors and Cavs for the 4th time in a row.
And I mean, this is going to be, I think this might be one of the tightest matches we'll see, because I think Brandon's like a huge addition for you guys.
Absolutely. He absolutely has been, and like, he's been putting in the work for this time for this team, absolutely. And despite the couple of players that unfortunately are no longer with the team, the addition of him has more than made up for it. And thanks to him, despite not having as deep of a roster as we might previously have had, because I'm a member of Encore, but I'm not currently on the team. I'm not currently in the lineup because Tech, who was just casting, is the better player, so he's going to be taking my spot.
Oh, say that.
Awoken. It's true. He's a multi-world record holder, and I have like a worldwide tops.
Okay, but anyways,
either way, what matters is that both teams are pushing both themselves and each other to the absolute limits every time they clash in the finals of a tournament, and every time they play. Just in general, even in scrims, these two teams have been playing every single Friday night, in preparation for this final matchup, and they're looking to prove whether a dynasty can be continued or a dynasty can be started.
Yeah, I think this is going to be one of the match for the ages in terms of 200cc. Rated R have been dominant, as you've said. They've won multiple tournaments in a row, and Encore have been the closest to breaking that dynasty.
The bridesmaid every single tournament over the past almost the past year. There was the one 200 league season where the standings were shaken up a tiny bit, but ever since then, every 200 tournament since has been Rated R on top, Encore immediately following behind them. And if that streak continues today, that's probably about the 10th time I've said that, so I'm gonna need to get better talking points rather than, this having been the grand finals of everything 200 related.
Yeah,
both
and
teams bringing such strong players.
Just to reiterate for those at home, Encore do have to win this match and the next match because they are coming from the loser's side. So
yes, they are
steamrolling through the bracket to get to here, and now they have to face Encore, their toughest opponent yet, and they need to be beat twice in order for this to go Encore's way. But yes, I believe Encore can do it.
Yes, I am a firm believer that rules are meant to be broken and streaks are meant to end. So even if it's not today, I think Encore has been on such a great trajectory over the past year that they will eventually be on the top, even if they're not today. But they absolutely have a fantastic chance right here and right now. The only thing they're going to have to do is get through Rated R twice, which is a mountain of a task. But if any team can do it, it's them.
And since you are a part of Encore, I have to ask, is there anything in particular that you would like to see out of Encore, like specifically what they're doing in the races, or maybe a certain couple of track picks that you think that will benefit them greatly? Is there anything that you know of, some insider information for us?
Right. On the topic of track picks, what we have come to realize is that Rated R's best track, and the track that they've always gotten the better of us on, is Wario's Goldmine. And they're going to be looking to take advantage of that track, but Encore has been practicing it relentlessly, even if, and they will pick it, basically, even if they don't have spots for it, even if the other team has spots for it, they'll pick Wario's Goldmine just to get their practice in, because it is absolutely the weakest point. And that, combined with it being a running track and our biggest struggle against Rated R being holding front presence, is probably the thing that we've put the most work into, because we had always seen our value for a long time in our ability to pull shock, which obviously is still one of the strong assets of our team. But ever since we've been focusing on our running, I feel we've matched up better against the hyper-aggressive play style of Rated R that they always bring in tournament matches.
So I've completely forgotten already. I don't know how I have, but we have some new DLC tracks, and this is the first tournament in 200 that is allowing DLC. So is there any DLC tracks you think will come out in this war in Rated R versus Encore?
There's two in particular that I know Encore has been putting a lot of practice into. They found that they believe Paris Promenade to be a very hard runner, and will tend to pick it when they have a lot of tracks, or when they have a lot of front spots rather. And Ninja Hideaway to be very good for when you're starting in a lot of spots behind first. Second has a really good angle going into the first set and the first turn, and the people behind that can pull shrooms and piggyback off of the shortcut. I don't know if they're going to be using those in this match, because they are relatively new and they aren't nearly as practiced as their bread and butter tracks. Like, you see Twisted Mansion, you will probably see Piranha Plant Slide for a good race, and Sweet Sweet Canyon for a not so good race. Things like that this team has been practicing for multiple years. And whether or not a good runner will be thrown into there, like Paris Promenade, or a relatively new experimental track like Ninja Hideaway that they've been trying to perfect, we'll just have to wait and see that. But I would not be surprised if they just stick to their bread and butter base game tracks to know, because they know what works for them.
This is very curious to me, because Rated R picked Paris Promenade. I wonder if they just want to get this out of the way so that Encore don't have to use this later on, and maybe they're just not as practiced on it, or is there maybe they just think that it's a first track and they just want to try and.
I do believe that is the case. I am under the impression that since these tracks are still new, we still don't exactly know their places in the meta, but Encore firmly believes Paris Promenade to be a hard runner for when your team is all top spots, whereas maybe Rated R sees it as less of that, and being just for the couple of front spots that they started the race with. And so far, their theory has proven correct, at least in this scenario, is Darky able to hold off first, able to kill out technical, and is sitting pretty with his team. I believe Eric in second, so could be a top 2, maybe even 3 for Rated R at the moment.
We do see Brandon at least in one of those mid spots, so
yes.
Encore do still have some top fronts. It's just whether or not they'll be able to pull the shock and come back, or maybe pull a blue. Are you able to outrun a blue on Paris?
This is probably the easiest outrun in the game, yes.
Okay, so even if there's a blue that comes now, there's nothing stopping Darky except for a shock here.
Right, and whether that shock will come is uncertain. What is also uncertain is actually the spots, because I know a lot of Encore members have opted to go Waluigi this war, and despite us knowing that it is Darky and Eric in top 2 and who will be getting top 2, That could be an Encore member in third, maybe fourth, and that could
And it could be 3,
a
4, 5,
3, 4, 5,
6.
6. I do believe the Gold Mario is rated R, but that is
3,
not
4,
a
6,
bad
7,
start.
bottom 2.
Yeah, a pretty solid win for Encore to start off, being, I believe, or a solid win for rated R rather. I think I said Encore, but a top 2, 5, 7, 8, or a top 2, 5, 8, 9, 10. They'll always take that and opt right into the Moo Moo Meadows that they have basically made themselves a name out of, you know, being one of the most dominant runners in the 200cc meta. As of recently, it's been being seen less and been being picked for a lesser amount of top spots rather than this being like a top 6 track. It's more of like a top 2, maybe top 3 track, because we find that it's a bit harder to manage bumps on this track compared to something like Paris or something that is more forgiving for a top 3, because on a track like Moo Moo, where if you get hit once, then it's just over. There's much higher of a chance that your entire team survives if it's fewer people up there, and they are going to attempt to test that right now, picking it for just top 2 as opposed to what they used to do, picking it for top 4, maybe even top 5.
So I wonder if Encore will just straight up go for shock straight away. Maybe try it after this first set, and then, you know, once people get hit out, they'll probably go for it, because Rated R, as you said, made themselves a name on this track. You do see technical up here, though. You do see Rated R top 2. Maybe top 3 here.
Yeah. I'm surprised that I can read that name as Yoshira, but that would be him. And he is going to do everything R needs for him and more. And, like, Yoshira might have been hit out of his top spot and there might be one Encore member ahead of him, but that does not matter. Yoshira did his job for this race because, you know, this track, a minute long. Darky is locked first. I can tell you right now that if there's not a shock or if there's not a blooper and a blue, then Darky will be getting first this race. Okay. This track is just like that. And that Encore member in second, gonna survive the back. And looking...
Oh, there's like a huge bomb in the mid-pack!
Yeah, looking like a lot of chaos in the mid-pack. I believe there's an Encore member in third. I'm not sure who the Walloos are back there, but that will be Encore's second.
Okay,
maybe
like
a 1-3 for R, but a 1-3-4.
Okay.
Right. As far as what was happening back there, it was kind of hard to tell, but a 2-5-6 for Encore, they will take that, knowing the races that Moo Moo Meadows is capable of producing.
Yeah, especially after Yoshi Racer did that slow horn.
Yeah, after that horn, after that incredible horn by Yoshi Racer, that is about all. That is about the most they could have possibly asked for, because at that point, Darky was locked first, and there was nothing Encore could do about it besides the shock that almost never happens on this track. And as I was saying, right into that Wario's Goldmine pick.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be very tough if Radar do get this pick, because Darky has just been running right through this team, and if they want to try and break those tops, they need their track pick, and they don't get it, unfortunately. So
that will be, I believe, the 4th track pick for Rated R in a row.
Man, that's kind of rough for Encore.
Yeah,
but they have made it only -24, which is not as bad. So this is third race actually, but they have gotten 3 track picks.
Yeah.
So
there is something to be said about getting a lot of your track picks early. Obviously, that's not in your control, but when you are able to get a lot of your track picks early, you can add on so much momentum by just sending the other team through your gauntlet of tracks that you've practiced so well. And that's exactly what R is doing. And, you know, Encore, it's a question at this point of can they survive the track gauntlet. A lot of them seem to have survived and are still in the mid-pack, but I do believe it's mostly R in the very, very front, and that is what is going to matter. R falling a couple spots back, but it will, for now, be a 2-4.
Yeah, 2-4, 5, potentially, for Encore.
Yeah, absolutely a vast improvement over what R has done to Encore previously in tournament setting, and technical with these triple greens. And
nice horn for that was insane. Now 2-3-4.
Yeah, this is risky territory for technical, and thankfully for him, able to safely get rid of his greens and keep his teammates around him in 2-3-4. Darky up there in first, but a quite vulnerable spot when you have this much Encore behind him. Obviously, Berta and technical capable of pulling a lot of reds, at this distance. Could be a blue, could be a shock, but a lot of things.
That's a huge bomb!
A lot of things could also stop Encore, and Tech's race is practically over at this point, unfortunately for him. And Darky
just looks like he's
thanks to
running away
that, thanks to one of the best bombs he's probably ever pulled, able to seal first for his team. Berta remains in second, unless he hits that nano that was just placed, but it's still
top two. It looks like.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind.
No, I believe Luigi is Berta. Not sure who the Walu is. Probably R, if I had to guess. But
okay.
It will be a 2-3, 6, 7, 10, 11.
Another one. Okay.
And like I said, still a vast improvement.
Yeah, only getting
Encore
a +2 out of that.
Yeah, compared to what has happened to Encore on this track before, that is absolutely a race that they are more than happy to take. You know, Rated R have been very, very dominant through 3 races, you know, getting 3 straight track picks, and Darky's on so far a perfect war.
You know, you say
a poll with Will Darky 60 the GP. So you can go ahead. You can go ahead on vote. You can go ahead on voting that. Dylan thinks he's funny. If that wasn't Dylan, I'm gonna be surprised. But either way,
you know, you say
finally getting their track pick, and
you say that Rated R have been dominant in these 3 races, but it's only a 1 race difference. If Encore get a big race out of this, and they are 2-3, and in the previous broadcast we did mention that 2-3 is pretty good on Warrior Stadium. So if they do manage to get this 2-3 to work for them on RWS, they can just get this lead back.
Yeah. So. One of the other things that Encore's been talking about, which is so important in playing against Rated R, is just not letting them touch the front at all. And, you know, Darky with this defense in first and trailing that Encore member right there is so good for Rated R. And that's literally all they need to do. If they can just hold, like, look at Darky. Darky, even if Encore pulls shrooms at this point, this man is gone.
Yeah,
there would have to be a blue or a shock for Darky to not get first this race, because he's just going to keep pulling defense, and no matter how many reds.
Oh, and he gets a huge back there onto Desi. And
this is why Darky is such a good player for Rated R, and just such a strong player in 200cc in general. Like, he's getting blued here, but he has absolutely done more than enough of a job to keep Rated R in this.
And he's going to get blued on the glider,
almost getting the outrun, but still blued on the glider. I do believe that would be an R top 3.
Oh, the shock.
R top 4, but that will be an Encore shock. Ty is going to dodge his way up, and so is one other Encore member. So
this is potentially huge for Encore.
Brayden coming up with shrooms. It's going to come down to what happens to them at the end of this race. Actually, that gold Mario getting hit out, maybe
got hit out. Yeah,
good for Rated R. Darky dying is very good for Encore. And
I think that is an Encore
being
member
able to, unfortunately getting backed and is going to end up getting last this race.
Oh, Darky gets 11th. Okay.
But yeah, a 9, 10, 11 for Rated R. So it's going to be, a top 2-4. Despite the Encore shock, or what we can presume to be an Encore shock, despite their efforts, and with Ty dodging up to the front, this is what I'm talking about with just how good R is at just getting front presence and just running away with it. If you give this team an inch, they are taking a mile, and you are not going to come back against them. That is something that Encore's come to realize, and despite their best efforts, they just haven't been able to put together the pieces to get it to happen so far in this first GP. And Rated R's going to jump out to a lead of almost 40.
Yeah, and at this point, Encore is mitigating the top presence, but they are getting that through the mid spots. They're not getting it through the top spots, which they are going to need to start getting those top spots if they want to win this war. And if they get their track pick here, nope, they don't get their track pick. But Ice, I do believe it's kind of like a bit of a mess, in terms of the track. But maybe Rated R can prove me wrong.
Yeah, and that's another thing to be said. Ice generally seen as a runner in 200, and one of Encore's favorite track picks. So, smart of Rated R to burn it while they get the chance, and while they're having this track pick luck, they can pick pretty much anything they want and deny Encore from having access to it later on. Tech is going to opt for hanging out in the back for the beginning portion of this race, as are a couple of our members, Eric, and I believe K4I back there on the Gold Mario. But as for what's happening in the front, a solid start for Encore, as they're able to make their way into a good amount of top spots. That pink gold peach, if not hit out, is going to end up becoming a problem later on.
For Encore?
I don't think it is. I do believe it is rated R in second or maybe even third. That will be Edgy right there. And Edgy, you know, another very, very strong piece that
Blue
has been instrumental in rated R's
oh no, technical championship. Blue. Oh no, and now we see the breakdown of the tops coming in. Now we see rated R taking over first.
This is why I was saying it's so important to just make sure that, like, Encore is playing aggressive. I don't think they're playing aggressive enough still, because now rated R is top 3 as a result of a single blue, and
top 4 now.
Yeah, probably would not have been the case had they been able to do something against Edgy, but they just let him stay there, and as a result, it's turned into a top 4 for rated R.
Yeah,
obviously there's nothing. Obviously, there's nothing they can do about pulling the blue. I mean, Tech went as tight as he possibly could have and still got hit by it, but still,
obviously
they need to be more aggressive. They absolutely need to be more aggressive, because there was literally one person in rated R that was just sitting there doing nothing in fourth, but it was still enough for them to turn it into a top 4 thanks to just one blue shell.
Yeah, and I think if Technical wanted to avoid that blue, he definitely had to go wide there. But I think if you're Encore here, you just need to brush that race aside and just say to yourself, okay, we made some mistakes that race, but what we need to do now is we just need to focus on what's ahead of us. We had a bad first half, but we're going to bring it back. And if they don't have that mindset right now, if their mindset is in the gutter because of just that one race, they're going to be out of it. So
Encore
if they get their track pick,
Encore is not the type of team to be like that, and I'm sure they are in the call in the VC right now, reassuring themselves that they are in a better spot than they have been in the past. You know, as I was saying, Encore rated R, or rated R Encore, being, you know, the Warriors Kaz at 200cc over these past few tournaments, and they've been in far worse situations. In winners finals, I think at this point in the war, they were already down 90, which already shows
a
an
lot
improvement
of
to the style of play that they are trying in this tournament. You know, being much more aggressive and just not giving up. Like, this could be the last war of this tournament, but still, this team does not waver. This team will not lose their focus when they're down a lot or when they're up a lot. This team will play the exact same whether they're down 200 or they're up 200 or it's a tied war.
Okay, so we do see Brandon. He is going to get blued. You see Darky pull a ghost at the third. That's pretty crazy. I think Varo, does he DC? Wait, what's going on there?
Not sure what happened there. Could have been a DC, but it will be.
Oh, and a dodge
from
Darky. Oh,
it
no.
Will be Radar dodging into 3. It will be Darky horning out Brandon. Berta will make his way into first, but not for long if Red has anything to say about it. It will be, for now, rated R into 3. Edgy.
Oh, there's a shot for rated R again. Oh, that's so tragic for them.
Almost absolutely a rated R shock. And
the blue shell. Oh, no.
It will be going for a Waluigi. Actually, no, it will be going for K4I.
I think they have...
Or no, it is going for that Waluigi.
Okay.
Still not too sure what
that looks like a
R had in the front, but it looked like a lot. And a top 3, 5, 6.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gotta be disheartening for Encore.
Yeah, and you know,
especially when they pull 2 shocks, it's just
there really is no, you know, playing defensive, playing aggressive on a track like Dry Desert. That is just unlucky.
Yeah, I mean, we obviously couldn't see the back situation, but if Encore were back there and they just couldn't pull the shock, that's gotta be very frustrating for them. I wonder if there's a track here that can just pick them up from the wayside and completely, you know, take them. Oh, they're gonna pick a Rainbow Road. I wonder
Interesting
if
track.
I wonder if they can. I wonder if they'll bust out some experimental things to try and come back.
Yeah, this is absolutely an experimental pick for them. They don't choose it often, and despite that, of course they weren't going to get the pick because I think they've gotten 2 in this whole war so far.
Yeah, Encore member not too happy about the track picks so far. And yeah, I mean, it makes sense. As if Rated R didn't need any more help. They're getting all the track picks that they need, but they did get dry, but they got the 2 shocks, so
right.
Like we said, it's gonna come down to whether or not Encore can keep the front. I think that Ice race was the big race for them, and now they have to prove it with some grit here if they wanna come out on top here. And top 2 for Rated R already. It's not looking too bright for them, but the shock could be in play, right? We can see a shock here. Already. And we do see technical. Looks like he's gonna bag already.
So much front presence for Rated R, and honestly, if Encore doesn't go back and hard commit to shock now, this race is going to be over before they know it, because we've seen what R does time in and time out.
Blue, though.
You give them any front presence, and they are turning it into a +10 at the absolute least.
Oh no, technical not pulling a box.
When they start the race off top 4, it's that amplified by even more. Like, yeah, they can pull blue, but it's still going to be them in top 2 because they're just so much better at holding on to front presence, and they're so much better at taking front presence than Encore. And that is what has made them the better team for so long. Despite
it looks like top 3 is just
despite Encore's best efforts,
there needs to be some miracle shock here if we want to see any. Oh, there's a shock right there. Okay, he's using it straight away. Does dodge a Rated R member, but looks like they had to use it, or otherwise the race would just be over. So can Technical get a good spot here? It looks like maybe a couple Rated R members dropped down, but other than that, it looks like maybe a top 3, 5.
Yeah, or a
top 4
Rated R, and yeah.
This
is what I mean. Like, they're trying their hardest, doing everything they can, but every single time it's been too late. They can't fall back on shock because they have already been top 4 for a majority of the race, and they've already broken away. They can't fall back on pulling blue because that's only going to get 1 of the top 4 that Rated R had. And, despite them pulling both in that race, still a testament to how strong of a team R is, and, just holding on to front presence for their dear lives, and being up over 100 at this point shows it.
Yeah, and I think at this point we were talking about miracles for Freeze last war in the losers finals, but even a race earlier, we're gonna have to see some miracles happen if Encore are gonna catch up to Rated R at this point.
Yep. Them getting the Rainbow Road track pick could be the start of it, but like I said, a very experimental pick right here. Obviously, they are probably the better team for this track on paper, having the world record holder and a few other very fast players on this track. Thing is, though, with a track like Rainbow Road online, absolutely nothing is guaranteed because, there will probably be at least 3 or 4 people getting bumped out on these first 2 turns right here, and even after that, there will probably be a shock pull that cannon set.
Oh, looks like
able to survive and make his way into 3rd, but still a top 2 for Rated R. So making progress towards getting rid of those top spots, but if they can't get those top 2 out now, then they are basically screwed. Barring both of them getting hit by the same blue, or them just not being able to break away, or
it looks like they haven't broken away quite yet, but they need a shock here for sure, because top 2 for Rated R already is just too many top spots for them to deal with right now. They have to get up there really fast. Technical does have a star. Doesn't look like he's going to chain it, which means he's hoping that his teammates can pull it. And looks like tie pulling Triple Green's not able to do anything with that. We're having a lot of mid spots here for Encore. Technical does chain the star, but maybe he's starring his teammate. And it looks like we see a top 3 for Rated R now. Oh,
Yeah.
no, we do see Berta up there.
Yeah,
2-4.
that was probably just him going into it to...
Nice back by Berta. Maybe able to take out some tough spots here.
Yeah, we'll turn this into a 2-3-4 Encore, but it's still not enough. It's still not enough front presence. First is so valuable, and they are not going... They don't have the time...
Maybe a Nana Snipe?
...items or resources to get Eric out of here.
Not quite going
Yeah, Eric has a Horn in first. He's going to slow down and... Probably Horn Tech.
Oh, nope, not quite.
Tech losing his UMT, and it will be a 2-3, but that's just not enough.
Yeah, it looks like 2-3-6, maybe. Oh, 2-3-4-5. That's
2-3-4-5 is good, but again, they're gonna need so much more. They've snatched the momentum for the first time this war.
It's not over. It's not over yet.
They've
snatched the momentum, and now they just need to carry it into these next races.
Yeah, they have 106 points to make up in 1 GP, which again, a monumental task, especially against a team this strong. Despite how sleep deprived Edgy and Kai might be, based on their time zone, still a near impossible task against a team this strong. And
okay, we see
going to once again another bread and butter track pick of theirs being Sweet Canyon. Encore was in this spot in losers finals and went for Ninja Hideaway, and in this spot again, going for the track that they are more comfortable on.
Yeah, at this point, you have to be going for those huge races, and I think Encore is believing in themselves, especially on this track where, as you said, it's their bread and butter. And even though Rated R definitely has the experience on this track, because, like you said, they play weekly, it's going to be something that Encore has so much practice on that they just have to believe in themselves at this point. And if they can get a big race on here, then they have a chance. They need to get a big race.
They need a huge race here, otherwise it's over.
Yeah, and if Rated R win this race by more than 14, it is game over. So
if Rated R gets a plus 16 or more, then it is mathematically over. And honestly, like even if it's not mathematically over after this race, if it's not a gigantic race for Encore that completely flips their momentum, like a top 4, top 5 type race, then I still think it's gonna ultimately be over, because sure, they've got a small amount of leeway, but it's basically none. And if they're not getting Darky out of first now, then there's almost no point in trying, because Darky has a red in first. He's going to back. He just is. If it's Tekken second, he is just going to back.
Okay.
Looks like Rated R top 2. And goes the slower path, but has a bomb in first. And at this point,
Oh, he hits the Nana, though. That could be huge. That could be huge. And the blue coming out as well. Okay. Okay, this is progress.
Yeah, the blue hitting a Rated R member.
Looks like top 2, maybe top 3 for Encore.
Encore doesn't have that many Waluigis on the team. Darky discarding the bomb. Encore able to get Eric out of there. It's Tekken second, but it's probably another Encore member. It's probably another Rated R member in first. Just based on the ability that they've had to.
Okay, 2-3 for Rated R though.
Yep,
oh, there's a shock.
Could this out?
Could this help?
If that's another Encore member up there, it will be 2 shocks, but I think it's too little, too late. A top 2, 4, 8, 10, 12 keeps them mathematically in it.
Yes,
but still probably.
Okay, this is another winning race though. They're carrying the momentum, but it doesn't look like it's very much for them.
Still mathematically in it, but they are still down by 98. Plus 8s aren't going to cut it at this point.
So yep, at this point they need a plus 18 or more to keep themselves in the match. So right now, like you said, plus 8 would not do it. So they're picking Piranha Plant Slide, which
another one of their bread and butter tracks, and another one of ours bread and butter tracks, DP3.
And I think right now, if you're Encore, you've got to be thinking to yourself, okay, we need to be making some big plays now. We can't be playing safe, going for these little typical stuff that we got to do. You've got to start launch yourself in there and getting as much disruption into the top spots. You got to keep those top spots by backing as much of your stuff as possible towards Rated R. You just need to go for that. You can't afford to be safe anymore. You have to just go for it all. And if we see Encore do that, I think they still have a chance. But They really need to start now.
Right, and I honestly think like as much as I'm a massive Encore fan, obviously being on the team, and as much as I'm a believer in this team that we can reach the top, I think it's still too little too late. And
Oh,
if
that's
they
a
were going to
big green on Darky.
if they were going to mount a comeback like this, I feel like it would have had to start a couple races earlier than it did. Obviously,
yeah. We do see top 2, 4, 5 though for Encore. Oh, it looks like we see a back coming out from Edgy and a red as well that could connect.
A red onto another Encore member,
that's huge for Rated R.
Encore needs Edgy out of here right now, otherwise Bird is going to die as well.
Okay.
Honestly, I've been.
Oh, that's a big bomb. That's a big bomb.
That is a big bomb, and that is exactly what I was about to mention. I honestly feel like it's worth, like, if you have a lot of Encore in the front, I feel like it's worth sacrificing an Encore member just to make sure there's absolutely no Rated R in the front.
Okay,
that's something I've been talking to them about.
For Eric free.
I don't know how much they agree with me on that notion, but still something I feel like is worth experimenting when they get the chance. Now is not the time to experiment with things, though. And if Eric's not out of this front spot, then it's going to be over.
Oh, technical getting the outline on Eric, though.
Getting the outline, but he's still up here. He's going to trail, and he's going to need this trail to hit. If this trail doesn't hit, it will be Encore top 3.
Okay, top 3? Oh, but there's a shock.
That shock seals it.
Oh,
Rated R1.
That's so rough.
Yep.
Okay, the blue's going to connect on the Rated R, though.
Blue connecting on Eric, but once again,
not quite. Nope. Yeah.
And that's too many bottom spots.
Yeah, I mean...
And your 2018 NBA Overdrive 3 champions, the Golden Rated R.
The Golden.
I'm sorry. This isn't basketball. Yeah, they did it again.
Yeah, they did it again. Yeah. Anyways, congratulations to Rated R. You guys did a phenomenal job in this war. I think.
Once again,
if there's anything to take away from this, it's just, I think, Rated R just showing their dominance once again on the big stage, coming up huge.
And despite how many times Encore can beat Rated R in scrims, I hate to be so negative about my own team, but when you watch a war like this, R is just so good at being good when it matters.
Yeah, you're right. And they proved it on the big stage. And I think...
Yeah, and this is, I think, the 3rd or 4th time in a row, like I said, that they have proved it. As much as I wish... As much as I am, and as much as I love this team so much, Encore... Obviously, we've made leaps and bounds from where we were a year ago.
It's not enough to beat Rated R right now.
But it's not enough yet. We still have work to do, and
yeah, I do
believe that we are going to start doing that work.
Yeah, I think Encore in those first 4 races showed a lot of promise. Even though Rated R got those plus races, they kept it to a very minimal. They kept Rated R to a +2 on their best track.
Yeah,
in Warriors Goldmine. So they showed a lot of promise this war, but they just needed to put up the race on Ice Outpost that Rated R got, which was the +30. And that really turned all hell broke
loose. And that's another thing that I was saying about this is what I was mentioning on Warriors Goldmine, and from there I kind of saw this coming, and it ended up being the case where Rated R, by getting track picks for the entirety of GP1, just sending Encore through the track gauntlet, and despite Encore making it out relatively unscathed compared to what they had done previously, it was still enough for them to have the momentum to then further just absolutely break this war open even further than it already had. Momentum is
king.
One of, if not the single most important things in 6v6, and I think R won this war by being able to hold on to momentum the entire time. Obviously, there wasn't much Encore could have done about it. Getting sent through the R track gauntlet, getting.
I mean, they did a very good job. They kept it to a +30.
Yeah,
it was just that Ice race. They just fell apart there when that one blue just killed all their tops, and
that is a tournament winning blue right there from whoever threw that. And Edgy able to capitalize on it in that scenario. You know,
Yeah, it was.
I
It was
hate being down on my own team because I love them so much, but there is still definitely work to do.
Yeah, and I think the one of the last things to take away from this war in particular is you just gotta make sure that you're precise when you're running. You just gotta make sure you're precise with your backs. You gotta be sure you're precise with where you know everything is on the track. That blue, that technical got hit by, that was the one top spot that they needed to hold on to. The blue was coming for Berta. They need to hold on to first if they wanted to keep a good race on that track. And unfortunately, when he got hit by that, it was just game over for them at that point. And Rated R are going to capitalize 100%, and that's what they did.
Yeah,
so
they always do capitalize in moments like that. Probably the best team. Like, they have absolutely solidified themselves to be the best team just in general, but they are even better in the clutch.
Yeah.
Like, the gap between, like, when in the clutch, the gap between Rated R and everyone else just widens even more. And that's why they are looking to continue this reign for as long as they possibly can, and, you know, holding off everyone. Shout out to the Koopa Varmint. This combo goes so hard. Oh my god, that combo goes hard.
Feel free to screenshot, by the way.
Yeah, screenshot that combo right there if you get the chance. But you know,
it's just
it's just R more than any other team, and always has ever since they formed after the death of AX, and ever since, and you know, always been the team to beat. Still have always been you know, the team to beat just in general, the team to beat in the clutch, and so many times they've proven that they are just the best. And
yeah,
it may not be today that they've fallen, but that day Encore is trying so hard to make come. And
yeah, I think
you have to respect their resilience. You know, getting second in so many consecutive tournaments, just the resilience this team has to absolutely never quit.
I think when Encore showed that resilience in the first 4 races against was it 4 track picks? I think it was 4 track picks.
It was either 3 track picks or 4.
Yeah, either way, I mean, they got sent through the gauntlet. They basically survived.
Yeah, they survived the gauntlet near unscathed.
Yeah, and from there they just needed to get that big
From there they just they were just done in by one slight misplay, and from there.
And before you guys go,
yeah,
we have
they lost the momentum. But
before you guys go, we have an announcement to make. So keep tight.
Let me handle this. Actually, you know what? No, go ahead.
So right now, we see Rated R beat Encore, but we have a special announcement for you guys, and let's see it in action.
Right now, 200 community. It's despite the things that it has been in the past, it is. I enjoy this community. I do believe it is a nice place, and for those of you that may not be 200 players, thinking, like 200 is fine. Maybe I want to try it. Maybe I don't. But you know what? I have a reason for you guys to get into this mode. Okay, Nino. That is why. On May 1st, 2022, we will be starting up Season 4 of 200cc Lounge. And once again, guys, this is a fun mode. I know so many people in this community write it off as being like the party game mode, as being not as serious as 150. And while I will agree, 150 is great. We all know 150 is great. This is... I feel like everyone in the community should at least give this a chance.
Yeah, and I think I gave it a chance, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I've been playing a lot of 200cc Lounge, and it's been a lot of fun. I mainly got into it because, you know, some clanmates of mine were in it, so they wanted me to join in. I hopped in. It was so much fun, and I haven't looked back since. I've playing a lot of 200cc Lounge, and I'm very happy that there's a new season, because that just means more opportunities for me and other people to give themselves the spotlight that they deserve.
Yeah, and now with this season, we can also help the community grow. So if you're not already in it, then someone already dropped the link for 200 Lounge in the Twitch chat. And if you're just not on MKC at all, this is the first Mario Kart tournament you've watched, head to mkc.gg right now and join this community. It's such a great place, and it's such a fun game to play competitively. I can speak for myself that over the past 2 years I've been in this community, I've loved every second of it. I've met so many great people, and it really has changed my life.
And with that, the grand finals of 200 League Overdrive are over. Yep. Have a great day, everyone. Have a great rest of your weekend.
Of course, congratulations to Rated R once again. Encore, as resilient as ever, yet another second place. And will Rated R fall? Only time will tell. But it wasn't today, and that's what matters. Congratulations to them, and thanks for watching 200 League Overdrive 3. See you guys.